Welcome back to the Change Your Life podcast. My name is Dwight Gillespie. I'm your host. If you haven't done so already, you already know the drill. Like, subscribe, and by all means, share with your friends. Today, we are going to talk about getting ready. People are always getting ready. People say he's not ready yet. Ready for what? And I have done this in my own life. The last podcast we did was about the differences between desire, willingness, and action. And I know that some people say, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. And I did that for a long time as well. But today I want to impart something on people, and that is that people die getting ready, you know. And you say, well, ready for what? And you say, well, taking better care of yourself, doing better things for yourself. And people say, you know, like, okay, you know, I want to stop with that nasty porn habit that I have, or I want to stop spending money I don't have on stuff that I don't need. I want to get on a diet because I'm not sleeping well at night. I'm pre-diabetic. I'm diabetic. All of these things that we're going to get ready to do. And I know for myself, I built a gym in my house years ago, and I didn't use it for like a decade and a half because I wasn't ready. You know, I was always like one piece of equipment away. I got a rowing machine. I got all of this stuff, right? But I needed that one more piece of equipment, you know, and I just wasn't ready yet. And I have a very dear friend, and I was just talking about him, and he's eating himself to death, and is basically what's happening. And I feel bad, but I know that there's nothing that I can do, because I know that I don't have the power to, and this is another podcast we're going to do. I don't have the power to make anybody feel, think, or do anything that I want them to feel, think, or do. You know, people think they have that power over people, you know, that if I just give this positive, information and everything, that they're going to change. And I don't believe that's the case, even with this. You know, you can watch these videos, and I think that on this particular podcast that we give some really good suggestions on the things that you can do to improve your life and to change your life, which is obviously the name of the podcast. And I think that that's there, but the other side of that is a willingness on the person to not just listen, but to accept this and to go ahead and make that decision that today's the day that you're gonna change something about your life. And there's another thing here. It says that the secret, here it is, and this was Earl Nightingale said this. I have a lot of his quotes. I liked Earl Nightingale. He said, the secret to your success lies in your daily routine. If you want to change your life, you must change your daily routine. So I used to get up every morning, right? I would get up at a given hour, and this is like right after my retirement, and it took me a long time, and I was putting on a lot of weight because I was retired. I wasn't as active as I had been working, and so I was putting on a lot of weight, and every morning I would get up, and it would be the same routine. And get up, have a cup of coffee in front of the TV, and put on YouTube videos or anything, just blather, and sit and contemplate doing stuff with my day. And it got this way, and I would think about this, like it would be this constant thing of knowing that I would have to change something in my daily routine, that were going to lead me to live a better life. And when I made that decision and I decided to disconnect my television, I haven't watched the news in over 9 years. And that's on purpose, because the news is depressing and it never tells me any good shit. And I have friends who tell me, oh, you got to watch the news. And I'm like, well, if I see a big flash over Manhattan, I know we went too far, and I have maybe 10 seconds before I'm disintegrated. And I'm cool with that. I'd rather not know it's coming. And certainly I don't want to have to worry about it up until it does. But I know that I had to become ready at some point. I had to become ready and able to do this, and to make that decision that I'm going to do this today. I'm going to change my life, because it is true. People say, oh, you don't change overnight. That's a lie. That's a lie. You can change overnight. You can change in an instant. And I can tell you that I went from being a using addict to a non-using addict in recovery overnight. One day I used drugs and the next day I didn't. And the same thing happened with my diet. One day I was eating whatever I wanted in great abundance. And the next day I wasn't. And I'm not going to tell you that that was perfect, but I made that decision several months ago, and I've been able to do it since. And I went one day from being a person who watched TV all day to being a person who wasn't, and that decision really was made in a day. And I was able to change because, as I said, people die getting ready. I said to my dear friend, I said, you don't see, 400 or 500 pound people at 60 years old. I'm 59. He's 58 now. And I care about this person. This person saved my life when I came into recovery. He was instrumental in helping me get off drugs. And I feel not an obligation, but I feel a desire to help this person do the same with this, because food can become a drug for those of us who have this problem, and if you do. I'm not here to tell you if you have that problem, but if you do, and you're killing yourself with this stuff. And again, you can say, "Oh, fat shaming," or "I'm not fat shaming." I don't think anybody should be put down for the way they look, or if you want to do this, that's your business. But to me, watching someone eat themselves to death is no different than watching someone drink themselves to death, or use heroin until they die, or to do any other thing to themselves until they die. And what kind of a friend is that? I recently, a friend passed away, and he was highly overweight, was smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. And I heard someone who was actually much closer to him tell me, he said, I feel like I was a bad friend because I never said anything about it. I never confronted him on the fact that he was eating and smoking himself to death. In this idea that you can't say it, you're fat shaming. Well, I don't understand what's different between food and alcohol. I would say something to someone who was going to get behind the wheel of a car and they were drunk. So you're going to kill yourself. I'm not alcohol shaming you. I'm telling you that this isn't good. And I'm not alcohol shaming you if I watch you get drunk every night and you have cirrhosis of the liver and I'm not saying anything to you. To me, it's just ridiculous. And people don't want tough love. I'm here to tell you that I don't believe that people die getting ready. People say, oh, they'll quit doing drugs when they're ready. Well, okay. All right. Okay. When is that going to be? Because I go to a lot of funerals for people who aren't ready, who took that fentanyl shot and didn't know it was coming. I heard recently there was somebody who in this area had died from smoking pot that was laced with fentanyl, and they died from an overdose from it. And that to me is just, it's outrageous. Why would somebody lace pot with fentanyl? I don't know. But it was done, and the people died. They overdosed on it because you smoke it. Look, I know I used to smoke heroin, and you can do that. And people, as I said, getting ready is very difficult. But if you've had enough, maybe it's time. And getting to that point, you're the only one who can make that decision. So I don't care what anybody does. Like if you sit there, if you have one of these problems, if you're overeating, if you're drinking too much, if you're doing cocaine or crack or heroin or meth or whatever it is that you're overindulging in right now, or even switching, because people that I did it myself. I remember once I was going to kick heroin with 2 8-balls of cocaine, and I'm coming down off the heroin, right? And I'm starting to withdraw from the heroin, and I got an 8-ball-and-a-half of coke in me. It was one of the worst feelings in the world. And as people say, that's like switching seats on the Titanic, and we're going to be safer over here, The whole ship's going down, man. You're going to die. You better get in the lifeboat. But that's it, and when is it time? Well, when the water's up to your knees, it's probably time to get in the lifeboat. And you don't know when the water's going to rise really fast. And the quicker you take care of these things, the better off you're going to be. And as I say, you're the only one who can make this decision, and you're really the only one suffering from it. And this is another podcast that we did as well, and it's a thing about time, and I love it, and I say it all the time. That time is the one thing that doesn't care about any of us. Time is the most blindly devoted thing in the world because it doesn't care about your race, creed, religion, color, and none of that stuff, sexual preference, gender. It doesn't care about any of that. Time just keeps going. It just keeps marching on. And no matter how much money you have, or no matter what sexual preferences you have, or what sex you are, or what race you are, or where you come from, 20 years from now, if you're still alive, you're going to be 20 years older, no matter who you are or what you are, right? It doesn't matter. And while you're waiting to get ready, time just keeps marching by. Time just keeps going on. And if you want to do something meaningful with your life, if you want to find purpose with your life, if you just want to travel and have a good life and not spend every resource you have on whatever your malady is, then maybe it's time to get ready. Get off your ass and get ready and make that decision. Make that decision to change your life today. And you'll lead a better life as a result of it. Anyway, that's my feeling on the subject. My name is Dwight Gillespie. This is the Change Your Life podcast. And I wish you all well. Again, just hit that subscribe, hit the like, and by all means, if you heard something in here you think somebody else could benefit from, by all means, share it with them. Share it with them and give them the word. Thank you very much for listening. My name's Dwight. We'll see you next time. Bye.